All right, let's get right into it. Ready to go. Ready. Okay, everything should be good. I need to go ahead and look. What? All right. Let's do this. So we have SPRC right out of the gates here. Do you have news on it? This is a death spiral stock, has a history of breaking out and fading. What kind of news are we looking at for this? SPRC to acquire, blah, blah, blah. And deal valued at 19%. Not honestly incredible news. I'm a little iffy to trust this one just given off the history that the stock has done. Okay. Good morning to anyone coming in here. BRC. IOTR also moving. Good morning, Volume Gang. Good morning, Flip Flop. You're short at 174. Yeah, SPRC is one that historically has rug pulled, so I am hesitant to get in on this one, just from a kind of historical standpoint. This news, this company, they've done buyouts like this a lot too, so this is a very common thing they've done. And we'll see if it follows through. I personally have little conviction in it, so I'm not going to touch it. IOTR is also kind of curling a bit here. Popped this morning on what appears to be no news. Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. But yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm feeling way better today. Yesterday, I felt so sluggish. It was terrible. I'll talk a bit more about it once more people come in. Good morning, Larry. Good morning. All right, well, we'll see if it actually breaks out. I don't believe in it, but we'll see. Nice 1 minute high setup on it. Well, I guess technically this was the 1 minute high. So not necessarily a clean 1 minute high setup. Huge volume came through on this candle. IOTR. Looks like it might be reversing here. Yeah, at the top of the hour, huge volume came through. We dropped from 440 down to, 370. It's a pretty big drop. That's almost a 70 cent drop, really. EVTV, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw. EVTV's still moving, too. Selling off quite a bit, but with very elevated volume. So, need to be patient. Yeah. This volume's lower. It's still elevated, though, so I'm gonna be patient with this one. If we see a third leg down and the volume continues to drop, that would be more appealing to me. If it bounces here, it is what it is. SPRC getting good volume here, though. Thicker swim is showing 3.2 million. Level 2 is quite thick on SPRC. Very strange. Actually, on Weeble, for me, it's showing the bid as bugged. It's not updating the bid at all. That's very weird. Is it doing this for other stocks? No, it's just doing it for SPRC. Hold on 1 second. I'm actually going to hide my screen for a moment. I want to check Thinkorswim's level 2 for SPRC. Okay, so for the level 2 for Thinkorswim is working, but the Weeble level 2 is not. I don't know if anyone else can confirm, but for me, the bid on Weeble for SPRC is not updating. The ask is, not the bid though. This is very weird. Impressive breakout on this. I genuinely didn't think this would move. Very nice volume too. Almost 1 million. It's frozen on yours? Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Stuck at 184 for me. Yep, 184. Okay, so it's probably all of us. Yeah, it's probably all of us. That's very strange. Like I said, I checked Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim level 2 is working. So it looks like it's a Weeble exclusive problem. It's very strange. Have I looked at Aton? No, I'll take a look at it. Fair enough. Oh yeah, this was, I remember this stock. This was like a penny stock. Yeah, it was at like 90 cents. No, nice move on it to be sure. Yeah, closes 46 million AI infrastructure. Fair enough. Weeble level 2 working fine. Restart app. Yeah, I can restart it real quick, see if that fixes it. It's kind of weird that I would need to do that. But yeah, 1 moment. I'm just going to restart Weeble, see if that fixes it. I didn't open Weeble that long ago, so I'm kind of wondering why that issue is happening. All right, let's see. No, you're correct. I restarted Weeble and it is now updating. So, very interesting. All right, well, if that happens going forward, now I know to just restart the app. Strange. It's very strange that it happened to all of us too, right? It was all of us at the same price, 184. So it would have froze right around here. Right around one of these 2 minutes it froze. It's very weird. You didn't have to restart? Why didn't I trade SPRC? This stock has a history of rugging. So because of that, I didn't want to get involved with it. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. Oh wait, it just fit. Oh. So me restarting did nothing. Okay, so it just so happened that I restarted, and then when I came back it fixed. That's interesting timing. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Do want to mention, by the way, that The level 2 on this suggests that the shares outstanding is much higher than 3.2 million. This company is known to dilute, so I suspect that the float is actually much higher, which just makes it more surprising to me that this is moving. Trading view for you yesterday. Had to actually sign out and restart. All right, so we'll see how this pulls back here. Yeah, some sizable volume coming in on the selling. Perhaps around the 170 level. Could be a buy for a bounce there. This volume's too high, though. It's too dangerous buying into this, I think. Good morning, Skivon. Good morning. It could have been the case that this sold off. The volume was light. The heavy volume came in towards the bottom here at 180s, like 189. So it could be the case that someone just bought a ton down here, and that's why we're seeing the next leg. It's hard to prove that, though. All I know is that a lot of volume went through here at 189. EVTV kind of going sideways. IOTR also kind of going sideways. I'd really say SPRC is the only thing on watch at the moment. Really just seeing how this plays out at the moment. Seems to be ranging. But no, this is an impressive move. I genuinely didn't think we'd see this kind of volume coming in for a catalyst like this. Very interesting volume here. Constantly descending volume. You think Interactive Broker is better than Thinkorswim? Thinkorswim has too much restrictions to buy stocks. But like, Interactive Broker is one of the worst. Not tradable on Schwab. So Schwab's not involved with this volume. Well, interestingly, with Thinkorswim, you can still sell shares of a stock. So if you owned this before they restricted it, then you could have sold here. You just couldn't buy. And Thinkorswim, I've noticed what they do is they kind of cycle on and off certain stocks. So SPRC might not be tradable right now, but it was tradable in the past. Or at least that's the pattern I've observed. So it's kind of weird that they would do it like that. Very nice breakout. Yeah, we're continuing to see much power here. So this is twice the stock has had a breakdown into a breakout, almost immediately after. Huge volume too here. But yeah, most retail people who are on Schwab would not be able to trade this. Seems like there was a buyer down here at 216. Yeah, Interactive Broker seems kind of clunky from my experience. They're a little bit slow. I don't really know if I would prefer them as a broker. Yeah, I was thinking about pulling the trigger down here at 217. I was too afraid to pull the trigger. I'm liking Weeple so far. I mean, I'm down like what? Down 38 bucks, but it's because of me. It wasn't because of the broker. Plus, it's only 3 days, so very low amount of data to go off of here. But at least so far, right? I've used this for about a week now. It seems nice. Yeah. I'll probably be able to give a different assessment in like a month or so. But my initial impression is that I think it's very nice. Right, I had to switch off of the charting. I just couldn't fix the issue with the random volume surge coming in at 8 a.m. But yeah. Schwab wants investors only. Interactive broker. Yeah, Schwab is definitely pivoting towards investors. It seems clear. Well, it's not really that that's what Schwab wants. It's that is what the market makers want, right? They're getting $0 commissions, so they're paying for order flow. So when you have people day trading, they can't make use of that order flow. Because order flow is better for longer term moves. So there's kind of like a conflict of interest going on there. So a pretty big rejection off of this top here. 238, 240. High volume too. This could be the start of a sell-off. Is this the top? This seems like quite high volume for selling pressure. Notably on both of these pullbacks, on this one you had descending volume. You had descending volume. This is the first instance we've had a pullback on higher volume. So this is the first instance of that. That signals to me maybe this is the backside. As for trade opportunities, I was close to pulling the trigger here. I was going to do half size, but ultimately I was too afraid to pull the trigger. Buying at the highs is scary, man. All right, let's see if I call it right here. I'm calling this is the top, and we're going to see a breakdown. Schwab was going under a couple years ago. Big bond problem. They try hard to sell their products. I'm not really aware of the financial situation of Schwab. I can't really comment on that. All right, we're seeing it go down here. Let's see if we see the breakdown. If it breaks out, fair enough. I really thought this was going to break down here. I mean, it still could, right? This could be a false breakout. Get bulls long. Bull trap. Yeah, so this is looking more like a bull trap now. Right, my reasoning again was the volume was higher here. Both of the pullbacks on the first two were low volume pullbacks. You had a bull trap here potentially. We'll see how this resolves. I'm still bearish on this. My call was that this was the top. HMA, I'll go ahead and check it out. Ooh, wow. What the heck? Okay, no news. That's a red flag. Stock has a history of doing weird stuff. It's an Arab company. Arab company, no news. Random inflow here. It looks like this was coordinated too, right? You see that we were having elevated volume. I mean, upwards of like 10,000 shares on some of these candles. Leading into this move. Looks like a pump and dump. I don't trust it at all. Alright, you've got resistance here around 730s. Oh, I don't trust this at all. This looks like a very sketchy play. Your short average is $2 even, so yeah, sitting in the red still. Yeah, I mean, I think SPRC, like, it's a bad company, so, like, the odds it reverses, I think, are high, but we'll see. I'm more curious about how this one's going to play out now. I'm still sticking to my guns. This looks like a pump and dump. My question is, how clean is the pump and dump going to be? Is it going to be a straight pump, straight dump? Considering people were paying tens of thousands to buy here, there seems to be support on the daily around, we'll just say 480. So if the rejection is super hard, 480, 460 could be a buy. This was a nice bounce though, right? 210 to 610 to 640. It's a 30-cent bounce. I would have never taken that trade, but interesting to note. This breakout happened on only 20,000 volume. All right. Back down, maybe. I'm overwhelmingly bearish on this, by the way, if it isn't clear. I think this thing's going all the way back down within the next 5-10 minutes. It is interesting, though, that it did this bounce. This is kind of strange to me, that it had this much life in it. But on the flip side, this pop did only happen on about 40,000 shares of volume, so could be set up. I don't know, this is holding up better than I thought it would. Short squeeze seems unlikely to me. I mean, I know there could be short interest on this, but given how this volume was acting here, this looks more like someone was preparing to pump this. This doesn't look like a short squeeze to me. Very nice bounces here, right? 610, 690, 80-cent pumps. So this thing is getting huge moves to the upside. I'm genuinely impressed. I thought this would immediately roll over. We are 1 minute from the half hour, so we might see other stocks come into play. First yawn, but only 30 minutes in, so it's better than it was yesterday, where I was yawning like every 3 minutes. It could just also be a day where if something's moving, it's moving well. We've seen AHMA move well. We've seen SPRC move well. So perhaps it could just be that stocks that are moving get pumped better. The fact that this had some volume here might suggest that this specific stock was coordinated. And maybe SPRC just had better news. So keeping that in mind. XAR, check it out. Nice pop on this one. 200,000. Does have news. Another acquisition. So this is similar catalyst to SPRC, and that one did well. Float's a little higher, but it's nothing crazy. This one's been a very suppressed stock. Yeah, the chance to buy would have been this pullback here. Yeah, this looks very strong. I should have pulled the trigger there. SPRC totally rugging now. Jeez. Not going to jump in immediately here because this volume is elevated. But very surprising how much this is, like, completely collapsed. You're short at 136 for this. Pretty high volume up here. Take a stab at this here. See if we can curl back over 140 or not. Went to a low of 25. Rough. Just didn't get that curl at all. Well, one thing that I did like going for it here, though, is all these did push back up. The pushes down were on lower volume, but I don't know if that's enough. This might have just been too overextended to begin with. Rough, dude. Oh, that's so rough. Maybe in hindsight, this volume's still too elevated to be buying into. Yeah, now we're getting huge volume coming through on this. All right, I'm gonna cut it there. That was a rough one. Man, that's so rough. I guess the only thing I would say here is maybe because these two volume candles were still high volume, that was a red flag to maybe not get in. Just considering how strong this moved up, though, and how this catalyst matched SPRC, I really thought this would have had better resolution. Because this one was a cheaper stock, too, I needed to cut it earlier. I was holding for around a 10-cent drop, but because I had larger size, that made that exposure more detrimental. It is a cheaper stock too, so I should have maybe considered that. Because of the high volume, I'll give it a B-. It still had other good qualities going for it, though. Sell volume was too high. Yeah, this one just has huge volume across the board, though, is the thing. Dang, and even me getting out here was actually, jeez, even getting out here was dodging a bullet. BCTX. Wow. 8, 17, 19. Huge spike on relatively low volume. Yeah, on the daily, this one doesn't really have any great spikes that holds, but this one does move. Is restricted from shorting. News looks really good. Yeah, the lower volume, the huge gap up, significant. Really, yeah, you'd be looking for like 13 to 11 for kind of a daily entry. You could also look at this, so right around 1380, so right here. Thinking more around the lines of 11. Yeah, very surprising AHMA move too. Yeah, I agree. The news seems good. Just really worried buying here after this big of a move on lower volume. All right, this is a pretty big gap. 8 to 13. And I'm already down, what, 58 on the day, so... Not a great result for your boy. No VWAP or moving average on your chart? Yeah, I don't use moving averages. Okay, I took a half-size position here. Mostly looking at daily support. I don't know, though. This volume is still, again, this volume is just heavy on this selling. Hmm. FBIO is also moving. I'm still on this stock, but just calling that one out. Yeah, HMA, jeez. I'm actually so impressed this one's just moving. Very impressive on it. Hmm. Yeah, brutal day for me. I think I'm done after this trade no matter what. I'm clearly just not doing well. It's twice now I've made this same mistake of buying into high volume pressure. I'm clearly still messing up something. Alright, I'm cutting the trade here. Yeah, basically selling the bottom, but I'm done with this. Can't keep trading like this. Currently down 90, $103 or so, right? Yeah, 103. Alright, that's max loss. I'm done. And both of the trades had the same mistake. Again. Dude, and I sold the very, very bottom too. Oh my god, dude. Look at that. Look at this. I sold at 874. That's literally the very bottom. That's the very, very bottom. Rough day for you too. Yeah, I gotta work on it. But look, I'll go ahead and go over this. I'm gonna end it today early because I'm just really frustrated now. But I want to go over these real quick, just for context, and I'll make a video on it too. But XAIR. So I bought this pullback. We knew SPRC did well, and this had a very similar catalyst to that. Looks strong on the front side, so I was buying this pullback. But these two candles, they're just high volume. High volume selling. It's a red flag. That's a rule that I don't touch that, and I did. And then same thing here with BCTX. Here, you had high volume red. And I bought on high volume red. It's just a very simple rule. In both trades, I violated that. And this is a higher priority rule too. I mean, I was shaken out, yes, but I don't blame me being shaken out for losing these trades. I blame me entering when I violated one of my main rules for both trades. Well, I think I'm gonna end it here because, like I said, I'm definitely tilted right now. I could stay, but like, honestly, I'd be just really frustrated and probably making very depressing remarks. So I don't want to put that on you guys. But yeah, 2 trades today, max loss 103. At the very least, I can say I made the responsible decision and walked at max loss. Right? That's the silver lining, is that I was able to follow the rule to walk away at max loss. But you guys all have a good rest of your day. Unfortunately, I'm just going to call it here. Yeah, you guys have a good one.